Good morning, Zach, or is it? Well, it must be noon, actually. Noon on Wednesday, October the 13th, 2021, with YAA bringing you the news that you can use in just 30 minutes.
Wow, Pops, you've been practicing? That sounded pretty good.
Actually, it was the first time I ever said it, but yeah, you could call that practice.
Hey, it sounded pretty good to me, Dad. Thanks for doing this. Yes, like you said, Wednesday, October 13th. We've got a lot of news, two topics we're going to touch on today. Two big topics, especially if
Yes.
you're interested in, what's going on in the automotive market. We've got new days supply of inventory data that came out today for the month of October, or for the month of September, came out
Yes.
the 1st of October. And we have the next and latest used car market update from our friends over at Black Book. Lots of data that we're going to run through
Yes.
today. Those are going to be the two topics. And we're going to go deep. Share as much as we possibly can.
Oh my God, I feel like Deshaun Jackson going deep,
Yeah.
running a post route. Here we go.
So let's kick things off, Dad, with the new car supply. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me because more people are interested in new cars than just about anything, and so when they see some of these numbers, well, it might curtail their interest.
So if you're listening to this after the fact, or you're on live with us here on YouTube, Twitch, JDate, Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, Facebook Live,
Sketcher,
Sketch.
Stitcher. God,
Sketcher is coming out with their own dating app.
Yeah.
So we have back on the YA website. It's at joinyaa.com. Go to guides,
Yes.
guides, and we have the data right there. Pops, let's kick things off with the vehicles that have the most inventory.
Okay.
Right? Let's start with most inventory. Let's shine a positive light. The Ford Maverick just came out, has 193 days supply.
Maybe they're all in transit.
Yeah, the data does take into account vehicles that are in transit. Also, the Ford Maverick just came out. There's only 3,900 units of inventory actually out there.
Yeah, my guess is that that's closer to a 39-day supply than a 193-day supply.
Yeah. One of the things you'll see in the table here is we've actually put the changes as well. And I might as well share it right now. We actually link out to a spreadsheet that you can use. So if you had clicked on that link right there, there's a separate spreadsheet that you can access.
Wow.
Where you can actually sort through the data yourself. So enjoy that too.
Very cool. Could you make that just a little larger for these eyes? Much better. Oh, look at that. I can actually read this now.
A little too big?
Well, you don't have to make it that big.
Okay, there you go, Pops. Can you read that now on your end?
I think I can.
So we've got Lincoln Continental here with 100 units of inventory actually out there. That just signals to me no one's buying Continentals, right?
Well, it also signals that it's probably the end of that model run, and that's all that's left.
Ford Transit Connect vans, Ford EcoSports, talk about vehicles that, are end of model runs.
Yes.
The Mustang Mach-E, there's only 5,000 of them out there, but right now that's a 79-day supply, up 34 days from last month, which was a 45-day supply. So they're just not selling that fast on the Mustang Mach-E's right now.
Or who knows? Because my guess is that there's a huge demand for that car. So I don't want to say I'm somewhat suspicious of Ford's data, but I'm somewhat suspicious of Ford's data here.
Fair enough. Then Genesis, they have 4,100 cars currently out there, 68-day supply. You can see the full list here. There's not a lot of vehicles that have what you would usually say that is a typical 60-plus day supply. That's what a lot of automotive manufacturers look for in the past, were 60-day supply, correct?
Yes. Yeah, at the dealership level and at the manufacturer level, you wanted somewhere between a 60 and a 90-day supply of vehicles, so that you could carry a significant enough on-hand inventory that you would be able to have pretty much whatever it is a customer might want when they came in. Once you start getting below 60 days, it really limits your inventory, it limits availability, it limits selection for customers. And so some of those numbers that you were just showing, where there weren't a lot of vehicles, that indicates that the vehicles that are left are either in odd colors or odd configurations that, well, nobody really wanted.
And now let's look at the vehicles that like legitimately there is not a lot of supply because those,
Yes.
remember, were the vehicles that have the most days supply right now.
Yes.
New cars with the least inventory right now for the month of October, the Acura ILX, there is 100 out there right now on the market for sale. That's a 5-day supply.
Yeah, I think there's I want to say there's like 250 or 300 Acura dealers. So you might, if you were in the market for an ILX, and God knows why you would be, but if you were, okay, well, they're discontinuing the cars, but if you were, you might have to shop 3 dealers to find one, because it's not like there would be one at every dealer if there's only 100 in the country.
Then we have, and we've broken everything down not only by most and least. For those of you that are seeing the screen here live on the show, we also broke it down by the different manufacturers as well. So you can just click on those links. But
God, you were so thoughtful.
thank you, Dad.
Yeah.
You and Mom taught me well. Subaru trucks. So those are going to be your Cross Treks, your what's the other one? Outbacks.
Outback, Forester. Yes.
There's 6,400 in the United States Subarus for sale right now that are Outbacks, Foresters, Cross Treks.
Crosstreks. Yes.
That is a 5-day supply. Which
Yes.
you've heard us talk about Subaru week over week now, or month over month now. What's surprising is that's a 2-day drop from last
Yes.
month.
Yes.
So we went from a 7-day supply to a 5-day supply. Percentage wise, Dad, that's like a really big decline month over month in terms of inventory, and not nearly as much as what happened on the car side. So your Subaru Legacies and whatever else, Subaru, whatever other cars.
Impreza
Thank you very
and
much.
the WRX.
There's
Don't forget the always popular WRX.
1,700 of them for sale.
Mhm.
More importantly, the day's supply got cut in half. It went from 13 to 6.
Yes. So you're talking, what was that? An 8,100 new car inventory
For
nationally
Subaru.
for Subaru, that typically sells 50, 60,000 units a month.
And we've got in the chat here from Todd Finn. Todd, thanks for being here. We received one Maverick and it sold in 3 hours. So earlier we were talking about how the Maverick, for this data set,
Yes.
we've got the greatest market day supply, but there's someone, on the ground floor saying, no, not quite. They're moving pretty rapidly.
Yes, they are.
There's also a comment here in the chat, Dad, from Lone Wolf. How come you don't list Nissan? Nissan's not reporting this data out. And so there's different manufacturers that share different levels of granularity. Some don't share any information about their
Yes.
inventory. Some share broken down by trucks and cars, and some share broken down by model. If you look back, and we actually mentioned this in the Twitter thread that we posted back on Twitter. If you look at 3 years ago, the number of manufacturers that shared all of the days supply inventory numbers was huge. That data sheet that I was pulling from was humongous. You look at it now, we've got maybe 12 manufacturers out of the
Yes.
32 major OEMs that actually share that information anymore.
Yeah, it's some of the manufacturers are keeping the information much closer to their vest than they have in the past, and some, the information that you would see, and my suspicion is for Nissan, because we know from insiders, that friends that we have in the business, that Nissan kind of told their dealer body not to really expect a lot of cars. So I think Nissan's afraid that if they were to actually report out that information, the numbers would be so staggeringly low, that they're probably afraid it would scare people off.
I thought you were going to do your classic, the stuff would hit the fan, at which point I was going to say,
There's not a big enough bowl to make that much poop.
I really wasn't thinking of an airplane reference, but yes, the poop's going to hit the fan eventually. Yeah.
and for Nissan, if they are actually reporting their days supply data like they did 3 years ago, that would probably scare a lot of people out,
Yes.
their investors, etc.
Yes.
Let's work
Absolutely.
our way through here, Dad. We've got the Honda Civic with a 9-day supply right now.
Yeah. So if you're a Subaru dealer, or even a Honda dealer, and your two hot models for Honda, or in sedans, are the Civic and the Accord. You got to be a little concerned when you have those type of numbers.
And now forgive me, I need to update the data set. These are Civics that were produced internationally, Civics that were produced domestically, Civics that were produced internationally across all Civics.
Yes.
A 13-day supply, but
Yes.
still, there's just not a lot of vehicles out there.
Yes. Domestic and imported.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And let's scroll back up. Let's look at Ford data. I think there's a lot of people that have been asking us about truck supply, and we don't
Yes.
have a ton, but here we have it here. Ford has 94,200 F-Series vehicles out in the market right now in the United States. That's a 37-day supply. And we talked about this a little bit in past videos, Dad. We're seeing decreases and potentially even increases in days supply when inventory levels are decreasing month over month. And that's because the sales rate is slowing. We explained
Yes.
here on the guide, days supply is the number of days needed to sell all vehicles in inventory based on the previous month's daily selling rate. So if
Yes.
the daily selling rate goes down, that means that the day supply could actually go up.
Yes. Yes. And in the case of the Ford F-150, the day supply number has actually gone down.
And the amount of inventory has gone down. So
Yes.
that paints an interesting picture. There's
Yes.
less interest in purchasing them because, well, the prices are ridiculous, and there's fewer of them out on the market. Definitely not a good combo.
I do believe that there's fewer people in the market based on the costs associated with purchasing a new vehicle today or any vehicle today than there had been in the past. That doesn't mean there aren't people still in the market. They are, but I don't think the percentage of people in the market is quite as high as it had been in the past.
Absolutely. Let's run through the other brands that share this information, Pops, and then we're going to move on and do a used car market update as well. And I think also I want to sprinkle in a little bit. We got some inflation news from the federal government today. We'll definitely be talking about that more tomorrow because there's some interesting things happening.
The things you don't share with me.
Genesis inventory levels, Dad. Their days supply of inventory stayed the same month over month at 40.
Yes, but the truck inventory is down.
Which makes
The day
sense.
supply, yeah, because and let's face it, right now, Genesis is for a near luxury or luxury brand is a pretty hot commodity both in their cars and their trucks. And I would say, at least design wise, visually, rightfully so, because they make some of the most visually appealing vehicles that I've seen in quite some time.
Pops, I've even heard and read some of the comments that we're some of the most visually appealing automotive people.
Well, half of us, half of the team is. Okay, half gets compliments all the time, and the other half, well, gets none.
Pops, you get lots of compliments.
Yeah, not about my looks, buddy.
Hyundai inventory levels, they're at a 12-day supply, down from
Yeah.
an 18-day
Yeah.
supply. That's a huge decline month over month.
Yes, it is, and we're gonna keep seeing that, I think, for the near term.
Kia,
Oh, and by the way, I might not have a pretty face, but I got a beautiful mind.
you
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kia inventory levels, Dad, they stayed flat at a 15-day supply. But again, trucks, which is SUVs, that
Yes.
went down by 2 days. That's the Telluride at work right there.
Yes, it is.
Mazda's still at a 13-day supply.
Yes. Subaru keeps dropping like a rock. I wouldn't be surprised if next month we see a day supply of 0. The way things seem to be going for them. Because, I mean, Subarus, especially going into fall and winter in the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic and in the central Midwest, where it's cold and snowy and with their all-wheel drive cars, this is their time of year. This is when people are going, yeah, I got to get an all-wheel drive vehicle, and Subaru has been the vehicle of choice for many people because it's probably the most affordable, the most dependable
Yep.
all-wheel drive vehicle, mass market vehicle out there. And this has got to be frustrating the hell out of upper management at corporate headquarters because they can't seem to get their hands on enough chips or whatever to get their production levels up to where the dealer body would want them and the customers would want them.
And it'll be fascinating to see next month what the inventory level actually is. Not the day supply, because again, that's impacted
Yes.
by how many are actually being sold. Just the true inventory levels. There's 8,100 Subarus for sale in the United States right now
Yeah.
that are on dealer lots. Like, what's that going to be next month? Is it going to be 5,500? Is it going to be 10,000? Like, that'll be very telling to me.
Yeah, I mean the number that would be interesting to know is how many vehicles they plan to ship to their dealer body the remainder of the month. Okay. Yeah, and if this information is basically supposed to be what reflective of what was on the ground, say October 1st, you
Correct.
know,
And in
what's
transit. And in
yeah.
transit.
So what is the additional volume of cars that they expect to ship to their dealer body from October 1st through the 31st?
Yep. Yeah. It would be nice to know that. I don't know where to get my hands on that.
Well, they're not going to share that with us.
Lexus inventory levels, Toyota, Volvo. Let's wrap this up, Pops. Lexus, 27-day supply. They were the only brand, only manufacturer that went up in terms of days supply of inventory, up from 24 to a 27-day supply of inventory.
Wow. And even Toyota went down a day.
Exactly.
Uh,
There are only 83,000 Toyotas for sale in the United States right now. That's insane.
yes, it really is.
And Volvo inventory, that went down as well. Volvo's been probably one of the few brands that's maintained relatively high inventory levels throughout all of this. They went
Yes.
down to a 27-day supply.
Well, it's catching up with everybody. And if I may, compliments to you on putting all these charts together in an easy to read format for our members out there.
Yeah, and one other thing just for everyone that's on here, let me share my full screen with you real quick. And again, if you're listening to this after the fact, joinya.com/guides. So you also have a Twitter thread here that goes back into some of the prior year's data as well. So if you're curious how things looked, I don't know, say for Ford 3 years ago, I put that in the Twitter thread here. So their day supply is 38, which is down from 43 last month. They had 220, or they have 222,800 vehicles in inventory in the United States right now. 3 years ago, they had 600,000.
Wow. So
Toyota is
they're at a third.
Yep, Toyota is another good example. Their day supply is 16, with 83,200 units of inventory in the market right now. 3 years ago, they were at 53 days supply with 432,900
Wow.
vehicles in the market. So there's some other nuggets here back on Twitter. And again, for those of you that want access to the data yourself, just click on the Google Sheet here. It's a publicly accessible Google Sheet. You can come in here and you should be able to, add filters and do what you want so that you're able to, look at this data. And if you want, it's a little bit of work, but if some folks let us know either in the chat or if you post on the YA community, I'll backfill some historical data so we can do some comparisons. Let me know in the chat here. Let us know in the reviews that you're leaving on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, on Yelp, on
JDate, Tinder,
JDate,
and Hinge. Yeah.
Tinder, and Hinge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, ready to switch gears and move over to the.
I am. I want to know about used cars, especially wholesale used cars.
Man, it is crazy. And again, I guess just to preface this, today,
Yes.
the Fed came out and they're saying that, the consumer price index went up 5.4% for the most recent term, which is the highest we've ever had inflation, CPI, in a long, long time. The one note from that, Dad, though, that came out was that used car prices in September
Yeah.
went down. Okay. And that's like kind of something that some people are hanging their hats on. You, me, and the 300 or so people that are live here and the thousands that are going to watch and listen to this afterwards.
Yes.
We all
Yes.
know that as of October, used car prices have been going the opposite direction.
Yes, they have, and they will continue for quite some time, I fear.
And our friends over at Black Book have us really locked and loaded with the latest wholesale updates and retail updates as well.
Yes.
Again, what I think we saw in some of the CPI was this section. Now, what was that? 6 weeks ago, where we had week over week declines in wholesale prices. We have your dad again, a more than half a point increase in wholesale used car prices week over week.
Yes, which is when you annualize it, and I annualize it if it's a percent a week. that's 52% a year. And somebody said to me, well, no, it's more than that because you got to compound it. I don't know from compounding. I just know that those type of numbers should not be sustainable. But every time I've said that, I've been proven wrong because they just continue to go up in value. And it's not normal for this time of year to be seeing that.
I mean,
His,
look at 2017 to 2019. Average for this same week was a 4.44% decline in week over week wholesale prices. Last week was a 0.53% increase in wholesale prices. This week was a 0.57%
yes.
increase in wholesale prices.
So historically speaking, these are not numbers that we would expect to see this time of year. Historically, this is the time of year where the used car wholesale values are declining. And then ultimately, that would be reflected in the used car retail asking prices. But we don't see that happening. Um, Although there has been some slowing as to the number of days supply that dealers have. The average turn has gone up from 34 days to 36 days, but that is half of what a dealer would normally expect, because most dealerships operate on what they call 60-day turn policy, a 60-day aging policy, where if you haven't sold a vehicle within 60 days, you take it to the auction and you sell it. And in today's world, if that was the case for a dealer, they could probably make money if they took their car to the auction, because they could sell it for more than what they own it for. But typically, dealers would expect to sell out and sell down in a 60-day turn rate, and this is at a 36-day turn rate.
We got a couple comments in the chat, Pops, that I think are timely. David Andrews over on Facebook Live saying it looks like a roller coaster,
and a scary one at that.
And one that's going up to the
Yes.
top right now, which is challenging. We've got XP50 player KBB must be scratching their heads right now. They can't keep up. They legitimately can't keep up.
Well, and even our friends at Black Book have said to us that it's hard for them to keep up. They're trying to update their information on a daily basis, and even that's hard for them.
And I just wanted to mention, we are going to probably try and see if we can get the team over at Black Book here on the show. Talk to us live about what's going on in the market. Let us know in the chat or in the comments of the video, or back again on all the different dating apps that we might be syndicated out to. Let us know if you want us to try and get the team over at Black Book on. Hopefully they can share some insights with us as well.
Is there a dating app called Your Perfect Car Match?
Now I have to buy another domain name.
Damn it.
And we've got a comment here from Ray Glaze as well. Maybe I can sell my Subaru at a profit. Yes.
Oh, probably. Yes. Well, depending upon what you paid for it, but more than likely you can.
Even if you bought it 6 weeks ago, it's worth considerably more right
yes.
now. Let's look at this broken down by the different types of vehicles, Dad.
Absolutely.
Let me pull the data back up for you. Oh, one thing before we do, I want to talk about the retail implications of what's going on. There's a chart in the Black Book report. I'm going to try and make it as big as I can for you, Pops. The purple line represents this year, 2021, and this is a graph representing week over week changes in retail prices. So we just talked a moment ago that there was a little more than a half point increase in used wholesale prices. What's happening on the retail market? If you're listening after you're watching this, or if you're not able to watch this live, it's hit the highest point it's ever hit before, not by a little amount. I mean, what's going on? We're at a 28% increase. The same used car that would have been listed retail on January 1st of 2021 versus today, October 13th of 2021, is 28% more expensive today than it was then.
And I say that's not normal.
You don't have to be some big brained Harvard NBA or is it NBA or is it MBA?
I think it's the National Basketball Association. Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to be a Harvard National Basketball Association to know that something's up here. You know, like, this is not good. It's really not good. Cars are not supposed to appreciate 28%.
No.
We had a thoughtful donation from Jenny Richards. Hi guys, it's getting scary out there right now. Yeah, we completely agree.
Imagine what's going to happen when we hit Halloween.
So now, Dad, let's turn our attention back to specific segments of vehicles. Let me zoom out here a little
And
bit.
there were some, especially on the car side, that really surprised me.
All right, so here's what we're looking at. This is wholesale again, week over week. Cars as a segment went up 0.65% week
Yes.
over week. What surprised you here, Dad?
Well, that sporty cars and sporty premium cars went back up. This is the time of year when those cars absolutely go down in value compared to every other segment, because this is not the time of year for sports cars. But even those have seen increases from last week to this week, and the prior week they had both, if I remember correctly, seen declines in their wholesale values. So we're seeing some things that we just don't normally see.
And then there's obviously a lot of continued pressure on subcompact cars, compact cars, mid-sized cars. The reason, our hypothesis for why we're seeing that is because, again, quote unquote, most attainable, most affordable. We've
Yes.
done other videos, we've had other conversations around the Mitsubishi Mirage going up 50% in its value year over year.
Yes.
Still like the only sub $15,000 average used car out there. No wonder it's going up in price.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then when we look at the truck segment, truck and SUV, Dad, vans, we have joked about it now for probably at least half a year about how we should have put all our money into full size or just any type of van.
Better than Bitcoin.
Better than anything. I
Yes.
mean, compact vans at wholesale market went up 1.25 last week. Full size vans up nearly a point week over week. They are appreciating like no one's business. I mean, this is incredible.
Yes, it really is. And, whether they be delivery vans or whatever, it's just, it is hard to get your hands on them. And so there's a shortage of them. They're hard to come by. If you want to come by them, you gotta really pay up on a wholesale level to be able to get them for your used car inventory.
And Pops, we've got a few people in the chat letting us know it's actually a master's in business administration, so it's not the National Basketball Association.
I get so confused, but I was pretty sure the MBA was a master's in business administration, and if it's a Harvard master's in business administration, it means that you drastically really overpaid for it.
So, Pops, we were talking about it just a second ago. Let's mention it here because it does tie in with used car prices. I'm going to share the screen once more. I want to talk a little bit about the consumer price index and what's going on there. And the comments that I saw here when I was looking at it, consumer prices overall rose 0.4% in September, pushing the year-over-year gain to 5.4%. Energy and food prices climbed while used car prices, which had been central in the story of inflation, declined.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe just for that instant when they took a look at this, but they have been going up since then.
Yeah, so let's break this down because this is the consumer price index. This is the federal government saying in the month of September,
Yeah.
used car prices declined. Everything, I mean, we've been doing this every damn day. I'm not saying we're any better or any worse than like the federal government that has millions of employees, but you and
Yeah,
I
there's
look
just fewer of us doing it than them.
But Dad, we saw dips, I guess, towards the beginning of September in car prices, but we've seen them going back up. I read that and I was thinking to myself, I don't really know what they're talking about. Car prices are going up.
Maybe they won't pay what it takes to get the black book information.
Become a YAA member. We have the
Yeah.
black book data.
Yeah,
It's
and we'll share it with
us.
you. I mean, if you can't get your government agency to subscribe to Black Book, because it just doesn't fit into the government's budget allowances, you join YAA. I'm sure they wouldn't have a problem with that.
We also have the cost of living adjustment that was announced for Social Security.
Yeah, what was it?
5.9%.
Yeah, buddy.
Wait, I got a better one for that, Pops.
Yeah.
Show me the money. Show me the money.
Yeah, I'm getting a 5.9% pay raise from Social Security, which only means that they'll run out of money faster than they had originally thought.
Well, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited
you may
about that.
never get it, but damn it, I'm going to milk it for as much as I can.
Well, I'm happy for you, Pops.
Thank you. I
Anyway,
worked hard for that money.
yeah, you really did, and
Yeah,
now I got you working hard again.
yeah.
That's what we've got for today. On the new car side, days supply of inventory went down month over month. Again, have the resources back at joinya.com. On the used car side, prices are going up. Wholesale and retail both have hit new peaks for this year in terms of how much they've gone up. And then we've got the CPI index also going up, but used cars was the bright spot there because prices went down. You heard it here first. That's honestly,
There's not a big enough bowl to make that much poop.
That
that's
is
emphatic.
correct, young man. Yeah. So there you have it. 30 minutes of all the news that you can use in automotive from your best friends, Ray and Zach.
And we've got one final comment. What would Pops do in this situation from the Safety Doc podcast, Pops? What would you do in this situation if you had to buy a car?
Well, if I had to buy a car, I'd buy one today because it's going to be cheaper today than it will be tomorrow. But if I could get by without buying a car, I think I might Uber for a while.
And if you do buy a car, check out joinya.com, become a member.
Absolutely.
Let us help you.
Yes. Yeah. Because we're here for you.
All right, Pops. Thank you as always.
Thank you, Zach. I enjoyed it. I can't wait to do it again tomorrow.
That sounded a little robotic. Did you mean it?
Let me try it again. Thank you, Zach. I enjoyed it. I can't. No, Zach, I really had a great time. Thank you.
Much love, Dad. Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye bye.